Okay, so what I want to do in this segment is I want to talk about the big money niches and the big money traffic sources that you can easily do 6 figures even a day in. Okay, now one big thing that I notice with a lot of people, especially when they're starting off, is they like to jump from traffic source to traffic source to traffic source before they ever get one working or one scaled, and they like to go from one niche to a different niche to another niche before they get one thing working and they get one thing viable. And one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to do that because your focus is now spread out too thin. You can definitely make any one of these traffic sources that I've lined out on the whiteboard work, and any one of these niches work. And I mean, in any one of these niches, you can easily generate at least $1 million even a month, okay, from any one of these niches. But you have to have things really, really dialed in. And I want to explain to you guys a quick overview of some of the niches that I recommend for a newbie, intermediate, and advanced, and some of the traffic sources as well they can easily spend like 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand a day on. Okay, so if you guys haven't mastered a specific traffic source or a specific niche, don't go into another niche just because you see like another affiliate running in another niche. That's going to be shiny ball syndrome. And if you do that, you're never going to get one thing perfected. And you just don't want to be one of those people that just has that bunny rabbit kind of syndrome where you just keep jumping, but you never get anything to stick. The best thing for you to do is for you to focus on one traffic source, on one niche. Try and get it to stick, especially once you've done your competitive intelligence and you know people are making money from that niche and that traffic source. Then just try and get it to stick, work with it, stick it through. Then once you get one niche working, at least to the point where you're making at least 6 figures per month, then move into another traffic source and then another niche, okay? So let's start with the big money traffic sources. The traffic sources that I would recommend for you to be able to start with, it depends on the type of offer that you're pushing, because not every single traffic source will work with every single offer. But these ones, like these 5 that I've outlined on the board, there are some traffic sources that I know you could easily, like, probably do at least $1 million a month with, if you really dial it in and master that traffic source, okay? So you have the search networks, so that's like Google and Bing. I mean, Bing is gonna have a lot lower volume than Google, but still in some circumstances, you can still do some decent volume with Bing. But the great thing about Bing, compared to Google, is if you're starting off, they have way, way lower restrictions on types of things that can be approved and types of things that won't be approved. So with Google, you have to follow loads of different guidelines, and most of the time if you're promoting an affiliate offer, you're gonna have to cloak. Unless you're doing the white hat version of the offer where you're building out like a complete whole blog, right, that's compliant and stuff like that, then you can start to push some offers through Google. Or if you're doing something like pay-per-call, then you can push stuff through Google. But typically with Google, I ain't gonna lie to you, I have to cloak when it comes to Google, and it's kind of a headache sometimes as well once you do get ad account disapproved. So just bear in mind that search networks, they can do very, very well, and that's when you type in keywords into places like Google and Bing, you see the ads around the website, okay, or around the top part of the right-hand side part. You have social. So social is basically when you see ads on like Facebook, you can see ads sometimes in Twitter, you can see ads in Instagram, but Instagram is owned by Facebook. So social traffic that does very, very well, very, very scalable. The good thing with social is it's really, really about defining your demographic with social. Because people on a social platform compared to a search network are not in the mood or the modality of buying. They're more there to really have fun or to interact or to enjoy some type of content. But on a search network, they could actually be specifically typing in the keyword that would be relevant to somebody who is willing to buy or pull out their credit card. For example, if somebody types in cheap insurance quotes, they're probably in the market looking for insurance, and you can target that with a search network. But on a social network, you kind of have to target the demographic of people that may be interested in like insurance, and then get a percentage of people to respond to your ad by providing them with content. Okay, so that's kind of good. You can kind of do some direct sell stuff when it comes to a search network, but it's much, much harder on a social network to really directly sell to people. So you kind of have to engage with content. So that's where you're gonna have to create like content-rich landing pages or video sales letters or anything like that to really sell people on social, as opposed to search networks where you can literally send people to a product and tell people buy. Okay, so if you had like an ad to somebody looking for a supplement, you can send them to like the checkout page for the supplement on a search network, but that wouldn't work effectively on a social network. So just keep that in mind. On a native ad network is very, very similar to a social network in terms of the ads are blended in with the content. So oftentimes, let's say for example, you can even have native ads as well on social media, and a native ad is just basically an ad that blends in with the content of the site. So it's not like an intrusive. So for example, like a banner ad, you can see that a banner ad can be very, very different to the site that you're advertising on. It could look like different colors to the site that you're advertising on. It could be different designs to the site they're advertising on. So banner ads could really, really capture your attention because of how different it is to the rest of the content. But native ad, it kind of blends in with the content. So for example, if you go to a blog like Forbes.com, you can sometimes see where it says sponsored content, and those sponsored content pieces are native ads, and they send you to other pieces of content that could be onto other people's websites. And you have to really lead with content on a native ad platform. You can't, it doesn't work, and you probably will get ad disapproved if you try and sell directly to the consumer. You have to build a pre-sale page, you have to build a landing page, it has to be content rich, or maybe even an advertorial. And you have to use that as a way to pre-frame your customer on a native ad platform. So you have native ad platforms like Rev Content, Yahoo Gemini, Content.ad, Taboola, Outbrain. Some of these native ad networks, they have different types of blogs and websites that you can advertise on. And some of these websites on some of these blogs, they can be better for different types of offers. So for example, if you're going to run like a financial offer or auto insurance offer, something like Taboola or something like Outbrain could do very, very well, because they usually have blogs that to do with things that people in that market would like to read, okay? So maybe Financial Times type of stuff, stuff to do with just like finance and auto insurance, mortgages, all that kind of stuff, and that could be good to put your offer on. So just know that not all native ad networks will do well, depending on the type of offer they're trying to push. Then you have adult. And adult traffic, if you go to an adult website, like an adult tube website, like Pornhub or Xhamster or any kind of site like this, you'll see loads of ads plastered everywhere. You can see pop-unders, you can see redirect traffic if you're on like something like mobile. But adult traffic, the good thing with adult is it's very, very cheap, okay? And the reason why I even sometimes recommend adult to some people starting off is for the fact that it's very, very cheap and very, very scalable. Unlike a lot of these other things, adult is actually the second most searched thing online, period. So, there's a lot of inventory available and the traffic is very, very cheap. You can definitely pay less than 10 cents per click on adult, whereas paying 10 cents per click on social might be hard if you're targeting a tier 1 geo. So for example, USA, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So adult traffic can be very, very good, very, very scalable, can do very, very well depending on type of offer. Especially if you're promoting kind of like low payer offers, it can do very, very well, especially with stuff like dating. So adult can do very, very well. Places like Traffic Junkie, Exoclick, they sell adult traffic. There's so many other places like Traffic Factory, Traffic Stars. You can just pretty much search for it, and I'm probably going to include even a cheat sheet that has all of these, and there's some of the top traffic sources for each of these type of traffic sources. And then there's pop and mobile redirect traffic. Now, pop traffic is basically, let's say for example, if you see a pop under or a pop over on your phone or your laptop. So for example, if you go to like these file sharing websites or movie websites that you just stream your like a free movie online, oftentimes you'll see loads of pop-ups, right, that come up on your screen. And those types of offers, you can do very, very well on, and there's a lot of inventory available. Because again, it's not something that it's kind of blind, so the targeting options with pop traffic is not going to be as good as something like search or social traffic. But oftentimes you can get a lot of volume for very, very cheap. So pop traffic, you can literally pay 0.0001 cents per pop in some countries. So it can do very, very well. And mobile redirect traffic or redirect traffic is essentially if you were to type in like a specific domain name, or you go to a web page, and instead of going to that web page, you get redirected to another web page. Okay, so it can be intrusive, it can be like invasive a little bit sometimes, and it could be something where you won't get a high landing page click-through rate, But if you have a very, very good offer, or if you have stuff that even auto downloads on like mobile and stuff like that, then redirect traffic can be very, very good, because you literally just buy all the inventory that they have available, and you just basically, there's not really too many targeting options that you have to worry about, in terms of you don't have no banner that you have to split test, or you don't have no, you don't have any kind of creatives, but you only have to split test like your landing page, your offer, and your targeting. So you're gonna have to really delve deep into seeing like which carriers are providing the best conversions, which operating systems are providing the best conversions. So this kind of stuff can be very, very good for stuff like mobile content billing mobile content billing offers, whereby somebody just has to click. Let's say, for example, on your phone, all somebody has to do is click on an offer, and they automatically get billed right through the carrier. So they could be billed through Orange, Verizon, Vodafone, T-Mobile, but all they have to do is click and it automatically bills them on the page. Okay, it's so weird. In some places you can't do it, like for example, USA can't do it. But let's say, for example, in other geographical locations, especially in Europe or some of these third world countries, mobile carrier billing can be very, very good. Because it literally just bills somebody from the carrier without having to use a credit card or debit card, and all somebody has to do is literally click on something like an image, and it automatically bills them. Okay, and sometimes you don't even need to, depending on how aggressive the offer is, sometimes you don't even have to get somebody to even confirm. So they click on something accidentally with redirect traffic or pop traffic, and literally you can get paid for that conversion. So that can do very, very well in geographical locations that are outside of the United States. I don't think the United States allows that. But again, these are some of the big money traffic sources. Some of the things you have to just keep in mind with some of these traffic sources is with search network, it's really going to be about your keywords. Okay, you have to get keywords that are going to be related to the type of prospect that is going to be likely to pull out their credit card or perform the action that you want them to perform. So for example, if you are targeting the keyword, let's say for example, cheap supplements to gain muscle, okay, or best price for supplements to gain muscle. Okay, those kind of keywords are keywords that are going to be likely for somebody who is looking to buy a muscle supplement to type in. But if you're to type in get muscle as a keyword, that's very, very vague. I mean, somebody could be looking at get muscle for like get muscle cars, okay? Or they could be looking at get muscle for maybe a science project or something like that. They have to just research about how to get muscle. So you want to really have very, very strong keywords and a very, very good strong ad copy in the headline for a search network. But keywords going to hold a lot of the weighting, and having a good ad is also going to hold a lot of the weighting with the search network. Now with the social network, the main thing you have to do is you have to really, really focus on the demographics. So this is where you're going to have to really dial in on who's your perfect customer. So you're going to have to do a lot of competitive research, get into the mind of a customer and think that is my perfect customer within a demographic age range or demographic gender, or does it live in a specific country? Are they on a specific device? So you have to really, really get into a demographic targeting when it comes to social platforms and social networks. But it can do very, very well as well, especially if you lead by content. You do not want to direct sell on social, and I have to repeat that one more time because it's just so important. You do not want to direct sell on social. You want to sell people through content on social. And the same thing with native ads. With native ads, you have to sell people with content. A lot of the time, you're just going to have, it's going to be blind. You're not going to have a lot of targeting options. You can't target people by demographic on as you can with social, with a native ad platform. So oftentimes with a native ad platform, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have a very, very good ad and a very, very good headline, okay, that's going to target your specific perfect customer to want to now read the content on your landing page. And oftentimes you might have an advertorial, or it might be a video sales letter, but it's going to have to be content rich, okay? You're not going to be able to send people directly to like an offer and do well with native 99% of the time, right? And that's just come from my experience and other experience of people. But native doesn't have as much targeting capabilities. Traffic can be cheap, can be very, very scalable, but you have to have budget, because oftentimes you just run traffic on every single one of their sites within their inventory, and you don't and if you were to use whitelist or blacklist I mean, then you can narrow things down. But oftentimes you have to run of network, then narrow things down with a native ad platform, but it can still do very, very good. So it's really, really about having good whitelists, right, which are basically sets of sites that you can target that are likely to have a demographic of people that are going to buy your specific product or service. And that's one of the big things with native, is having white lists or block lists or blacklists, depending on the traffic source. So a white list is sites that you want to target. A black list is basically a set of sites that you completely want to exclude and you don't want to target. Adult is very, very good as well. With adult, you just basically have to get some good quality sites that you're advertising on, and you can basically promote loads of different stuff when it comes to adult. Even mainstream stuff you can do well with adult, but you have to also think about the demographic of the type of person that's likely to be on the site, and then craft your ad accordingly. And even with adult, even if you were to use advertorials on adult, like, you can literally crush it as well. So even though, and you have to just have very, very good ads. Banner ads, especially with adult, are going to be the #1 thing they're going to have to focus on and targeting, because literally you have to understand that somebody who is on an adult site, they're not going to be focused on your ad. So your click-through rate is going to be way lower on adult compared to social or search. But this is the thing. If you have a very, very good banner ad that can speak to your prospect and speak to the prospect's pain point, who might be on a specific site they're targeting, then you can do very, very well, because then literally that person who will see your ad, they can then go through a funnel, and the traffic is very, very cheap as well, so you can still do very, very big numbers with adult as well. So adult is very, very much about having very, very good, very, very eye-catching ads, and having a very, very good pre-sale sequence to sell the visitor on performing the action that you want, whether it be a lead generation offer, or whether it be a trial offer or a sell offer, whatever it is, okay? And pop-up mobile redirect traffic, oftentimes this is going to be blind, so the big thing when it comes to this is going to be a targeting. Okay, so knowing the specific carriers to target, and you need to definitely have a very, very good mobile tracker for pop-up mobile redirect traffic. So again, I use Test Easily. That can show you all the type of mobile information that you need to succeed with your targeting with pop and mobile redirect traffic. And you literally want to really, really hone in on targeting when it comes to pop and mobile redirect traffic. And you have to have a very, very good landing page as well that captures people's attention and has to load up very, very, very fast. You don't want to be using something like HostGator for hosting if you have a mobile landing page, because literally it's going to load up slow. You want to use a VPS hosting or even dedicated hosting, but you want to have very, very fast loading pages or landing pages and loading times in your landing page when you're targeting mobile and yeah, any type of mobile traffic, because again, if it loads up slowly, people are so ADD on their phone that they won't pay attention to the message on your landing page, okay? So guys, really, really focusing on like one specific traffic source for now. Really, really master it before you get into any other type of traffic source. So just break down search. You're going to master search. You're going to master social. You're going to master native. You're going to master adult. You're going to master pop and mobile redirect traffic. There's also banner ads as well that you can master. But you do not want to be one of the affiliates that one day or 1 week they're on search, another week they're on social, another week they're on native, another week they're on adult. Because if you do that, you're not going to be able to succeed. And oftentimes the people that do that, they're always going to be struggling and say, oh, search doesn't work, or social doesn't work, or native doesn't work, because they haven't got the traffic modality to work. It's not that these platforms don't work, it's you haven't gotten it to work because you haven't concentrated on it. Focus, follow one course until successful. And if you do that, then literally you'll be able to scale things up massively, get success, and once you start making profits consistently and scalably, then you can use those profits to now basically try other traffic sources or different traffic modalities, okay? So oftentimes I just focus on just one of these things, and I have a different media buyers as well. I have one media buyer that might specialize in adult. Then I might have another media buyer that might specialize in native ads. Then another media buyer that might specialize in social. Then another media buyer that might specialize in search traffic. And they just become experts of that specific field. And then once they do that, then that's how they can really scale up campaigns within these respective fields and then mastermind with each other to be able to build up campaigns across multiple different fields. So taking a search campaign, moving it over to social, taking a social campaign, moving it over to native, all that kind of good stuff, okay? So again, all of these traffic sources you can definitely do like $1 million a month with. There's affiliates that do not specifically Traffic Junkie or XOClick or Rev Content or Yahoo Gemini, but just generally like search, social, native, adult, pop, mobile, redirect traffic. Focus on one. Can do 7 figures a month with any of these modalities, even more than that. And if you do that, then you can definitely go out there and crushing your business, okay? So I'm going to cut it for this segment, and the next segment we're going to go into the big money niches.